So thank you for joining this knowledge transfer hour. I'm expecting that you guys want to learn loads about things about NAV. So just to try to bear our expectations, we are just seeing the most basic stuff on purchasing NAV. Even so, it can become quite interesting because you can see lots of important stuff to start using the purchase process. So introducing myself. So my name is Jose Rodriguez, and I'm trying to do this introduction to purchase in NAV. So we're going to start with the basic definitions about what we need to start when implementing the purchase process in NAV. So we need to create vendors, items, and we also need, but it's not really a requirement, but identify or create locations. So starting with the vendors. To create a vendor, we can do it in many different ways. We can go into our departments, purchases, order processing, and you can go into list of vendors. And then we could search for a vendor. If it doesn't exist, we can create it. And to create a new vendor, just have to click new. If you just want to look for a vendor and you don't remember the number, you just remember the name, you just go into the quick filterings, select name field and type in, for instance, the NAV. Okay. And then you quickly have a list of all the NAV people, sorry for the bad example, as a supplier. So you just have to select which one you want. And then what is really amazing from NAV is you can just create a purchase order from the vendor list, because you can create or a new vendor, a new purchase invoice, or a new purchase order. But before we going into these new documents, let's have a look what is under the vendor card and which are the basic information that we actually need to be able to proceed with the purchase process. So what NAV needs is to create a number that NAV can give you automatically with this thing called number series. It is not important, but it's a mechanism that NAV will create for you all these numbers for in vendors, items, purchase orders, purchase invoices, anything that has a serial interaction need to have like a code. NAV will provide this for you. A name, that is the most important thing, a name. And then we have a couple of finance information that we need to set up by this general business posting groups, this VAT business posting group, and this vendor posting groups. These are information that are related with the finance, with all the postings will be created automatically for you, because all these little things called posting groups will be set up directly or related with the finance. One thing that NAV can help is we can apply templates, and if you just have to create the supplier code or vendor code, and then someone help you to create these templates, they will actually have all this information for you. You just have to select which one is correct and fill in your vendor card. So this is pretty much the information what we need. There is much more, like method of payments. If it's a foreign supplier, which currency code use, which language code to use. You'll see that is really interesting that we can use all these different language codes to be able to create translations when we are raising our purchase orders and purchase invoice. So we can actually raise a purchase invoice or a purchase order which the items are typed in the mother tongue of the supplier. And I think it's really great. So this is vendors. About the items, the same way, we just have a list of items. This is all the items that we have in our stock. Also, we can search, for instance, by description. And if I'm trying to find, again, my good example, and I think it's called like this way, and this filtering all my items which have a TNP code, and that was the one I was looking for, the TNP item description. It's an item, give me all this information from the list. We also have all these fact boxes like we had on the vendors that give us other type of information. But if you want to see all the information required to create a new item, or I don't call it stock keeping units, because a stock keeping unit has a different name here in NAV, but if you call it just a stock unit, it's also good. You just have to press view, and again, there is a number, a code that unique identify this record in our item list, a description, and then here we have a few more information that is required. This base unit of measure, so how I want to specify if it's in pieces, if it's in miles, boxes, kilos, stones, liters, whatever.